YouTube, my name is rhianaB and welcome back to my Shadowhunter review reaction series, and this week we will be going over Season 3, Episode 20, which was originally the 3B finale, and it is called City of Glass. Alright guys, I have got so many notes in here right now, 2 full pages of notes, and that's most than I think I've ever done for a show. We got a lot to talk about, so let's delve right in. So we start off with the aftermath of the big Seelie Queen abduction in exchange for the Morningstar sword, because now she is in the apartment with Clary and Jonathan and the Seelie Queen kind of have this weird, like, I don't know, like this weird kind of flirting thing going on. I think someone has told me in comments in my latter videos that the Seelie Queen and Jonathan in the books, like, hooked up at some point. If someone wants to confirm or deny, let me know. But I guess that's their way of kind of getting that in. But it's really weird just to see, and I guess the Seelie Queen, Seelies are very, like, flirtatious creatures to begin with, right? I mean, it's weird, but it's the Seelie way nature, I think. But it is weird that Jonathan's kind of playing along with it. But one of the funnier scenes I thought was when Clary walks in and accuses both of them of flirting with each other. Jonathan's like, oh, I wasn't flirting, and the Seelie Queen was like, I was. So, I thought that was really funny. And then Clary kind of takes over with her authoritative ways as Dark Clary and slaps her, and basically demanding where this Morningstar sword is. And another good line is when when the Seelie Queen, like, accuses Clary of not being a proper Morgenstern, or doesn't expect her to be a proper Morgenstern, Clary rebuts and is like, I am a proper Morgenstern. And then she has this really weird thing with Jonathan there when she, like, puts her hand on his shoulder and they look at each other and she's like, we are one. It kind of reminded me of oh god, I can't think of his name. The baboon in The Lion King. Like, it kind of, like, I imagined his voice saying that, like, you are one. It was just, like, the weirdest thing. And I'm sick and tired of the incest thing. I've mentioned that before. Yeah, we just needed to stop. Now we are at our first clip of the episode, and that is an exchange between Asmodeous and Magnus after, this is the aftermath of Asmodeous stopping Magnus from erasing his memories of Alec. So this little encounter is going to be quite interesting. So let's go ahead and play that clip. They have a lot of beautiful shots of inside New York.
Be strength. Don't call me son. That's what you are. I'm your father. Sworn to protect and care for you through all of eternity.
Bullshit.
I think by buying me a snack, I'm going to welcome you with open arms. You are mistaken.
Yet he's very insistent. I can kind of see where Magnus gets his stubbornness from. I can see it coming from Asmodeous a little bit.
What else can I do to take your mind off this awful heart of yours? Just need some rest. Then let's get you home. Oh, therein lies a wrinkle. I'm currently in a 1-2 institute, and my apartment is, well, it's no longer my apartment. You gave it up willingly.
Yes, because he did it for Alec. Well, and his magic, but...
Contract is binding because a man's word is his bond. Still, his word dealing with you, isn't it? Yes, of course. I don't know what that has to do with it.
That doesn't give you a free pass, though. I mean, I shouldn't expect anything less from Asmodeous, but... Also, did anyone else notice that the pretzel kind of just magically disappeared? I mean, I know he has magic, but...
What's his pedigree?
Our first little moment of possibly Dark Magnus. Okay, Dark Magnus, I actually think is rather interesting because he has so much baggage because of his past and because of everything he's experienced. It would be interesting to see him go dark. But I don't like the idea of seeing Magnus working alongside Asmodeous, because Asmodeous, as we know, is a manipulative son of a bitch and will do anything to get Magnus on his side and for them to be together. Oddly enough, it's like a weird parallel with Jonathan and Clary in a way, because Jonathan will do anything to keep Clary by his side because he feels like he needs her. I think the main difference is that Jonathan thinks he's coming from a place of love because he doesn't really understand what love really is because he didn't experience it growing up. Whereas Asmodeous, I think, it's almost like Magnus is his possession. He claims that it's like a love of like a father-son type of a thing, but it's not. It's more of like, Magnus is my property, he shares a part of me, therefore he belongs to me, he deserves to be alongside me. And that's the main difference there, but I can't see many other differences between Magnus and Asmodeous and Clary and Jonathan. Now transition to the Institute, where Alec and Jace are talking to Meliorn as a kind of like a talk about what happened at the Bone Chandelier. And obviously, Meliorn and many of the other Seelies are very upset that their queen has been kidnapped, and that many of their Seelie soldiers were killed, if not seriously injured. And Meliorn basically accuses that Jace is just as responsible for his role in this just as much as Clary and Jonathan are. And, you know, Jace keeps saying, like, you know, I was undercover, I had to protect myself, and da-da-da-da. And then Meliorn keeps refuting back to, these are people that are dead, this is by your hand, and this, you were just as much as this, planning as they were. And then what I loved the best was that Meliorn brought up, and I forgot her name already, the one Seelie that hung out with Jonathan a lot. He brought up her and that she's been rotting in the Institute's morgue, but Alec just slaps back and is like, that's the same Seelie who left trails all around New York to distract us so that she can go in and kill Jonathan, and snuck into our basically our cells. And Meliorn is just like, he gets this most like serious look on his face, because I think that's the point where he's like, well, yeah, he is right. But we don't get a reaction to that, because another Seelie comes in and tells Meliorn that the Seelie Queen is willing to do an exchange of the Morning Star with her safe return. And obviously Alec and Jace are like, no, give us some more time. We need to find a way to separate the two of them so, you know, they don't die and that sort of a thing. And Meliorn, I think, is a little hesitant at first, and then Jace is like, you know, I will owe you for the rest of my life. I will be indebted to you for the rest of my life if you tell us a way to stop this from happening. And though Caecilius can't lie, so he can't tell him that, he can't tell him something that would, you know, probably help. He does mention that there are open portals to the Seelie realm, which I'm shocked that he has to be reminded, because I figured that they would be aware of that, because there's been multiple times that we have seen opened realms to the Seelie Court. It happened in season 1 when Clary went to the alternate dimension. There was also the bit in multiple events, I think, in season 2 where they kept going back and forth to the Seelie Court. So I'm shocked that they have to keep being reminded that they're just random open portals to the Seelie world, because it is a part of nature. But hey, what can you do? Also, when Jace said that I will be indebted to you, do you really want to be indebted to a Seelie? Like, I would not want to put my life and my faith into a Seelie, just because they are very, very shady creatures. Very, very shady. I agree with what Simon said in the Halloween episode, where he's like, you know, they are the most manipulative, you know, conniving creatures in the downworld. They may look all pretty and sweet, but nope, they are very, very devious. So after this discussion with Meliorn, now Jace and Izzy are planning their ambush to try to sabotage Clary and Jonathan's plan. And of course, since Luke and Simon are there, they want to help. They want to try to save Clary and be involved with this. But since they have to bring Glorious, and Glorious is the only thing that can separate the bond between Clary and Jonathan, it does put Luke and Simon at risk, since they're both downworlders. And if anything happened, like a burst from the sword, or if they accidentally get stabbed by it, they could possibly die, because it destroys all the demon blood. So they can't come with Jace and Izzy, but that does not stop them from trying to get involved somehow, and we'll get to that later. And then we have to start with talking about a character that I absolutely loved in this episode, and that is Maryse. So Maryse is now back at the Institute checking in on Alec, and at first I think she is there mostly just to check up on Alec, but she confronts him about why he hasn't been contacting her, or she hasn't heard anything from Magnus, since, you know, obviously you think that you would hear something if your son and the love of his life just got engaged, right? But since that didn't happen, since, you know, they broke up, she's questioning what's going on, and Alec finally admits that yes, they did break up, and of course she's just like, you know, why in the angel would you do something like that? And Alec had to admit that it's a way for him to feel whole again. And at first she doesn't understand it, but then the real nail in the coffin for me was when Alec gave Maryse the ring back, the family ring back and said that I should have never asked for this in the first place. And I was just like, no, Alec, do not give up on this. Like, it just, it breaks my heart so much. But I love the fact that you could see every time they have a scene with Alec having to talk about Magnus after the breakup, I do like that you can see the pain in his face. You can see how hurt he has been by this whole situation and ordeal. Even though what he thinks he did was the right choice, he still is heavily affected by it and it hurts him a lot. And speaking of Magnus, now we have Asmodeous and Magnus versus Lorenzo. So Magnus goes to confront Lorenzo about getting his apartment back, and obviously Lorenzo first is taken aback that Magnus has his magic back, and first thinks, oh, it's one of the warlocks in my district who broke my rules about helping Magnus, da-da-da-da. But the minute Asmodeous walks in, Lorenzo's face just drops. Like, he is so shocked that the Prince of Hell is in the apartment right now and facing him. But it's interesting how he can even, like, he's still being Lorenzo and is, like, insulting to Magnus and even to Asmodeous a little bit, and that's definitely something you do not want to do. And one of the things I actually found very interesting is that we find out that Lorenzo's father is a disciple or someone who is under the control of Asmodeous, which means technically that Magnus is Lorenzo's superior. And of course, Lorenzo doesn't like that at all because he hates Magnus. But I thought it was really, really cool to see, like, the dynamics a little bit of how warlock families kind of work, because it's such an intricate design, I feel. But definitely the best part of this whole scene was when Lorenzo was threatening to contact the Elders of the Spiral Labyrinth, Asmodeous just snaps his fingers, and lo and behold, Lorenzo is turned into a lizard. So Lizard Ray is now born.
Your father, the demon Belial, is a subject of mine, which makes you a subject of Magnus's. Bloodlines and all.
I shouldn't be like...
Fealty, fleeting as it may be, to the Elders of the Spiral Labyrinth, and when they hear about this... When they hear about what?
Finally!
And you didn't save him. As far as roommates go, you'll be quiet. Good to be a king, isn't it?
I can't help but love that Lorenzo's finally, like, in his true form, in my opinion. Oh my god, that was the best thing ever. The only other time I will ever thank Asmodeous. First, it was when he gave his magic back to Magnus. Second is when he stopped Magnus from erasing his memories of Alec. And now it's for turning Lorenzo Ray into a little reptile. I just thought that was so funny and so satisfying. Even though it was by Asmodeous' hand and he's not to be trusted, I just thought it was really, really funny. And now we get to a part of the episode that I didn't think I would find that terribly interesting, and that was the storyline between Jordan and Maya. So we know that Jordan stole the last bit of Heavenly Fire Serum from the Institute, but we weren't too sure of what he was going to do with it until this episode when he is at the beach where he and Maya first met, and Maya is there now, and he basically says, take the serum, take this, and use it to better your life. And Maya is obviously very, like, hesitant, and she thinks that this is not a good idea to do. And that's kind of where that part ends, and we'll get to it because it keeps kind of intercutting later on. But now we have our next clip, which actually kind of ties in with the whole Jordan-Maya storyline, so let's watch that clip. Well, this isn't shady at all now, isn't it? Hello, Scott.
As soon as I got your text, all right? Right now, things are a little busy.
You say that like you have a choice in the matter.
Look, I don't have time for this, all right?
Open that door, Grey Mark. I'll have you put right back behind bars.
Shady! What are your motives?
We've been monitoring one of our former praetor. And there's something you need. Something that can change the nature of the entire downworld.
They're going after Jordan. How do they know?
What do you need me to do?
Oh god, this clip is so short, but there's so many mysteries inside of it, and I want to know what they are. Okay, so, again, I really want to know what this whole thing is with Praetor, Lupus, and Scott. We haven't really gotten a chance to know who they are, and I think if and when we get a season 4, excuse me, that I feel like we would have explored this a little more, because I am so confused and I'm fascinated about what this whole Praetor Lupus thing is. And again, I'm not a book reader, so I don't know what happens in the books, but I'm very curious because, first off, they're very, very secretive. We don't know anything about them, even to this stage. We don't know how they got Luke out of prison, and how do they even know that Jordan has the serum? Because apparently he took it without anybody knowing. How do they know that he has it? I just have so many questions about this whole thing, and I want the answers so badly, and I don't know if we're going to get them in the time we have left with the current iteration of the show. But hopefully if we do get picked up by another network, we could possibly get some exploration there, because I definitely would love to know. So after this whole exchange, Simon is actually waiting outside, and he walks with Luke, and Simon is very insistent on trying to get involved with this whole ambush in the Seelie realm. And obviously, since Luke has to do this mission for Praetor Lupus, he can't be involved with it. But that does not stop Simon, and we'll get to that again a little bit later. Now we have our final clip of the evening, and that is an exchange between Jonathan and Clary.
What's actually happening?
Well, the two of us on the verge of reclaiming our birthright.
Yeah.
What is your birthright really even? Have we even ever established that?
Us. The look you had in your eyes the first time you saw my true face. The hatred. The disgust.
Can you blame her?
I guess I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
You can't blame her because of all the things you did when you were Sebastian, and the fact that, Lil was trying to bring you back.
To be attached to each other. Not being able to fight you without hurting myself. At first, I thought it was a curse.
And now,
Without this room, I would never have been forced to see you for who you really are. What's wrong about you?
What? No!
And you will always be my brother.
Thank you, Clary, for saving that, although that was still very, very creepy. Ugh. Again, I hate... Okay, I understand, again, where Jonathan's coming from when he's, leaning in to kiss Clary. He thinks that's what love is that kissing someone, regardless if they're your significant other or your family member, it's all love and it's all the same. I understand that he doesn't understand the differences in love. I still hate the incest stuff. I'm getting sick and tired of the incest stuff. Why do we have to keep pushing that down everyone's throats? I'm done. I'm just done with it. I'm done with it. But the other thing that we got from that clip after that cutout was Clary wanting Jonathan to teach her how to ride the apartment so that she can take it along with her, and saying that this is her home too. And I'm just like, like, I like Dark Clary, but the way that she's treating Jonathan is not. It just feeds the incest seed, and I don't like it. Okay, now we're at one of my favorite parts of tonight's episode, and that was when Maryse goes to what she thought was Lorenzo's now apartment, but is surprised to see Magnus is back, and she's obviously very confused. She's like, why are you back? I was wanting Lorenzo to tell me where you were so I can talk to you about what happened with Alec. And since Asmodeous is still in the apartment, Magnus, I don't think he even thought about it. He, clicks the door closed with his magic, and of course Maryse is like, wait, you have your magic back. And then she makes the connection, which I'm shocked again that Magnus didn't come up with this sooner, but Maryse connects the dots inside of her head, and she finally tells Magnus that this whole thing has been set up by Asmodeous, because she basically says, Alec came to me about 3 days ago asking for the family ring, shows it to Magnus, and of course, Magnus is like, well, what do you mean? What does this have to do with me? And Maryse is like, it would have meant something to you if he got a chance to give it to you at that dinner. And you can slowly see the look on Magnus's face turn from, confusion and, why are you here, to, complete and utter hurt and devastation. Because now he knows that Alec wanted to propose with the family ring on that night. And you could see him how he feels bad about it, but then he questions, well, then why did, Alec go and break my heart? And then Maryse finally asks him the question, Magnus, when did your magic actually appear? And that is the moment when it finally clicked for Magnus. Oh no.
Magnus, what are you doing here?
I would ask the same of you.
Why Alec did what he did.
You should talk to him.
Wait, your magic...
She knows!
Full again.
And that's to say what? I was lesser without my magic?
Stop, you know I love you. And despite what he might say to the contrary, Alec does too. Not 3 days ago, he came to my shop asking me for this.
Yes!
Is it like my family ring supposed to mean something to me?
It would if he had given it to you the other night at dinner when he planned to.
Oh my god, yes! Thank you, Mother Maryse. Yes! Thank you.
Why break my heart?
Magnus, when exactly did your magic return?
Yes. Now go in there and kick Asmodeous' sorry son of a... Blah. So a quick little cut before we move back on to Magnus, and that's with Jordan and Maya again. Jordan now finally reveals, which we kind of suspected from the promo for this week, and that was that he has not been cured of his silver poisoning, and in fact, he will die from it. That there's no chance of saving him. And that he wants, and this is the reason why he wants Maya to take the serum, because he wants her to live a life for the both of them. Now, obviously, I think if he took the serum himself, he could probably save himself. But I don't know, because he failed his mission as a praetor, as well as he can't quite get that connection back with Maya the way he probably wants to, I think he's kind of just given up. And I hate saying that because that is such a sweet sacrifice for him to do this for Maya, but I think that the ultimate thing to make her happy and to save her is to save yourself. So I do find it as a sweet sacrifice that he did it, but at the same time, I find it as a way of giving up. And I hate saying that about Jordan, but I couldn't help but read the situation into that. And I did think the line that he said, live a normal life for the both of us, was actually a really, really cute line. And now we move on to one of our altercations of this week's episode, and that is one of them being with Magnus and Asmodeous. Oh god, come on, Magnus. You know what to do. You know what to do.
Do you really think I wouldn't find out? Anger is in our blood after all.
Not his.
We are nothing alike. I'm a royal. You're a royal. That's all that matters. Stop with this terrestrial nonsense and become who you are truly meant to be. A prince at my side as I reign as king of all Edom. That is my worst nightmare.
That's right.
Your magic. Our magic is imperial. When yours was added to mine, I was powerful enough to keep Lilith in her place. Don't you realize how much stronger you could be in Edom?
He's stronger with Alec in this realm.
Could control the entire demonic plane.
Who would want that?
I should banish you back. That's why I won't be banishing you back to Edom.
What? Yes! Yes!
Do you know what happens when you enter a portal unconscious? Get lost in limbo. Forever.
Yes! Magnus! Yes! Magnus freaking Bane is back! Yes! Oh my god! Yes!
My father.
Yes! Yes! Oh, my boy is back and I'm so damn happy. Oh, okay. So now, Magnus knows the truth, and he finally confronts Asmodeous, is like, you really think I wouldn't find out about the truth? And Asmodeous basically is like, you can't blame me for trying, and basically just starts berating Magnus into why his life on Earth is so meaningless, and that it's so mundane, and that he should come back to Edom so he can be more powerful. And obviously Magnus is like, no, that's my worst nightmare, to rule alongside you and Edom. This is my home. This is my life. And Asmodeous again is like, you know, you don't realize how powerful you are. If we were together, I was able to control Lilith with your magic by my side. And if you came back, there's nothing that we couldn't do together. And Magnus has threatened to send him back to Edom, but then Asmodeous is like, well, I will always find my way back to you. And I think Magnus knows this because he ends up saying, I'm not going to be sending you back to Edom. And he just whips out a portal and whips out these like blazing like vine-like things, wraps Asmodeous around and is like, I'm going to be sending you to Limbo, because whenever, apparently if you are unconscious when you enter a portal, you just get stuck in Limbo. And that's actually a pretty cool thing. That's actually a pretty cool little detail that I didn't think about. And it's actually a very unique way to banish Asmodeous. I do have a feeling that, yet again, if we had gotten another couple of seasons, that he probably would have come back, because he is a Prince of Hell and he may have found his way to come back. But what a way to send him out, because now he can't be found, at least by anybody, at least not that I can think of. So now Asmodeous is finally gone, although rather quick. He is gone, which means now Magnus has to correct everything that he did wrong, and Asmodeous did wrong. Okay guys, now this is going to be a little long and a little all over the place because a lot did happen. We are now at the exchange between Clary and Jonathan and the Seeleys for the Morningstar and the Queen. So Meliorn does have the Morningstar sword in his hand. Clary grabs it to test it. It is real. It starts like flaming red flames and all that sort of stuff. And yes, they do exchange the Seelie Queen for the sword, but then lo and behold, Jason and Izzy show up just in time, and also the Seeleys run away. And now it's time for the big battle between Jason, Izzy, and Jonathan and Clary. So Jason and Jonathan kind of back up and go to another side of the court, and then Izzy and Clary, who have the swords, now it's their time to officially start the battle. So they're going at it with their swords ablaze, literally, and all that sort of stuff. And I just thought it was so cool to see two badass female characters with these two badass swords that are a part of this whole lore of Shadowhunters, for them to start battling each other and, like, you know, whipping swords around and all that sort of stuff. I just thought it was really, really cool, and to see them go at it, I really, really liked it. And also, we have another surprise guest at the party. Turns out Alec is waiting somewhere up on a hill with his bow at the ready with some sort of an arrow to strike at a tree, because it's actually like a light arrow that like explodes into light and blinds Jonathan. And because of that, Jace is able to get cuffs on him and subdue him with the seraph blade like right over the back of his head. And now they're ready to kill Jonathan the minute that Izzy can stab Clary with Glorious. Oh, Clary's not gonna make this easy on Izzy. Ooh. Oh, whoa! Oh! Oh, no! She could have at least had her whip as a backup plan. Clary, don't you dare!
Cheap shot bringing my best friend. It wasn't part of the plan.
But you damn glad that he did it.
Supervillain is not a good look on you, Frey. Trust me.
This is who I am.
You and I both know that's not true.
Jonathan needs me.
Come on! Yes! 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 Whoa! Whoa! What? Oh! Oh no! So is he full?
Being tethered to my sister is on your back. Clay will never stop hunting you. You can't hunt me if I'm already dead.
Oh! So that's what the connection was doing to Jonathan! I am shocked? Jace comes running, grabs Glorious, and the minute that Clary turns around to go and help with Jonathan because she can feel the connection, Jace just leaps into the air and just stabs her right into the rune. I can only imagine how painful that must be because that's literally getting stabbed in the chest. So Clary is screaming like hell, and Jonathan is obviously like feeling the effects as well. And yeah, something bad happens because the minute that that connection is gone, Jonathan just spouts out these giant black wings, knocks Alec back and like almost knocks him unconscious. And so apparently he has like this telekinetic type of force energy or whatever, because he ends up bringing Morningstar to him and is now threatening to destroy all of Idris and Alicante to kill all the Shadowhunters, because that way they will never fight, they won't go out trying to find him anymore. And then he just takes off. So good news is that Clary's back and the rune's gone, but now Jonathan is full-blown demon, and that's not what we wanted, and it's not gonna help anything at all. So we think that the battle is over and everything is kind of semi back to normal, until Glorious decides to basically just self-combust, and I guess I don't think it was meant to be a long-lasting sword since it's not the real Glorious. Because the sword basically explodes, and since Simon is there, obviously they need to help him. So Izzy, being the badass protector that she is, she ends up blocking Simon away from all the shrapnel that explodes from the sword, and because of that, she gets a lot of them stuck in her back. It won't do anything to her. Like, it would have hurt Simon a hell of a lot, but it wouldn't have really hurt her all too much since she has angel blood. But what a sacrifice for Izzy to make. And then we have a little moment between Luke and Maya, who is still near the beach area, and obviously we know Luke is trying to get the serum from Jordan. She tells Luke that the poisoning was not cured and that Jordan is probably going to die. And I think he himself is also taken aback by this, and I think this is the first seed that maybe something's not right here. That doesn't stop him from trying to get the serum back. And he asks Maya to give it to him if she doesn't want it and she won't use it, then give it to him and try to keep it away from the clave and from people who could use it for bad things. Which makes me think also that now the Praetor wants to use it for bad things. I don't know what they want with the serum. It's not much. I don't know. Like, I'm questioning the motives of Praetor Lupus so much, and I want those answers so badly. Back with Clary and the whole gang, she ends up driving the apartment to Alicante. And apparently, Izzy is okay. She's not accepting help from anybody. She just wants to kind of heal on her own. And they have to portal Simon away because he's not allowed in Alicante because they have these demon towers that, like, block demon blood. Which, sadly, I don't think it'll help. I don't think it'll make a difference with Jonathan since he has both angel and demon blood. But then Alec goes to talk to Gia Penhallow. Simon goes off to do his own thing, and then Jace and Clary have the conversation about how sorry she is for what she did and that she was in complete control of her actions, which she was, and that she compared it a little bit to the owl, and that Jace's experience is completely different in that he was under an influence, he was under control, whereas Clary wasn't technically. She was being, I think, manipulated to a certain degree because of the rune, but she didn't. But this was herself. This was her own free will doing this. And one of the lines I think was interesting was when Jace said, "The pull of family, of blood, rune or not, it's an impossible thing to fight." I find that interesting because we just witnessed, not that long ago, Magnus standing up and disconnecting from his father. So it's not an impossible thing to break, but it is something that keeps, like, it is something that always is with us and always kind of tugs at us a little bit. But I thought that was a very interesting quote for him to say that. And we finally got our Sizzy moment of the episode, which I thought so much was gonna finally be that damn kiss that we had been waiting for like, it feels like an eternity. Izzy is in a spare room and she's trying to get all the shrapnel pieces out of her back, and it was kind of disgusting, I'm not gonna lie. But Simon ends up walking in not knowing she was in there, but she asks him to come in and help her get this one piece out that's like really deep in her back, or where she can't reach it. And rather disgusting, but very, very intimate. And basically Simon is like, you've done so much. If it weren't for you, I'd probably be dead right now. And Izzy's like, well, how could I not save you?
Besides, you've done a lot.
Not as much as you. Maryse exploded. It saved my life.
How could I not?
Oh, come on. Come on, come on!
I should.
Yeah, you should.
Damn it!
Get out and start saving the world.
I mean, they really should be focusing on their mission, but come on! How many times? How many times? They're so cute, even though they're not officially together. And finally, like, they were looking at each other, they were alone, they were so close to an actual kiss. And just out of nowhere, all of a sudden, she's like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta go and, you know, finish my mission. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? We have been cock-blocked with Sizzy so many times. Like, what is this, like the third or fourth time this has happened in this half of the season alone? And I was really hoping we would get that one kiss before the series finale, and I'm a little mad that we did not get that damn kiss. We just want the Sizzy kiss. We want the Sizzy kiss. Is that really that much to ask for? It's a little annoying. But they're still so cute together. They really are. I just want them to be together. And then finally, to kind of wrap up the whole Maya and Jordan storyline, it's nighttime, and Jordan is sitting near a fire, and Maya is coming up with some food. But he's not moving, his eyes are open, and she's just sitting there. And right away, Maya knows, and we all know, that Jordan has finally succumbed to his silver poisoning and he has died. It's really interesting to see another character die. We haven't seen that many characters, in this season at least, who have like full-on died. We had a lot of death in season 2, but it's really interesting that we haven't had that many deaths in season 3, so it's kind of weird seeing. Even though Jordan wasn't necessarily the biggest character on the show, he definitely was a part of it, and it's very interesting to see him die. And even though I wasn't a big shipper of Jordan and Maya, I did think that the scenes they had tonight in particular were really great, and I did get a little emotional at their storyline, which I never really did before because they didn't really get a lot of screen time compared to all the other ships. So I just thought it was really well done, and it is sad to see Jordan go because he was a good guy. He was tortured a bit, but he was a very good guy, and it is sad to see him go. But this does lead to his funeral, where they do the Beati Bellicosi type of thing, and they set him on fire, or set his body on fire, excuse me. And Luke's there, but he has to leave really quickly, and then Bat and Simon are there to help support her. But she basically says, I'm going to be okay. I have to be okay. I'm an alpha now. I have to stand up and move on. And I think Jordan's death is really going to invigorate Maya to want to push for a better pack, a better, like, family unit, because Jordan never had that. And she's experienced some stuff herself. And she's learned, I think, a lot from Luke and his way of leading the pack. So I think this is going to be a great, great evolution for Maya as far as her character is concerned. She's probably going to become more of a badass, which I really hope we get a little bit of a glimpse of that in the series finale, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Alright guys, now we're at the final climactic moment and part of this episode. We are now in Alicante. Jace and Izzy and Clary, I think, yes, they all go into one of the ceremonial type of a room where it's open up to Alicante, and there's other Shadowhunters there and everything, and they all notice that these big giant towers that kind of look like crystals a little bit, that they start to go dim and they start to shut off. And those are actually the demon towers that actually stop the people with demon blood from coming in. And now that they're down, that means Jonathan is here, first off. And then now he's really ready to let all hell break loose, quite literally. Because he shows up, he takes the Morningstar and just rips this big rift to eat him. And all of these demons, I don't remember exactly what they're called, but they all keep like flying in and they start attacking Idris and start attacking Alicante. So I guess Jace and Clary go off to do something by themselves, but then Izzy goes back inside, finds Alec along with Helen and Elaine, who are now back, and to have this really cool, okay, they do talk about like how they're gonna have a game plan, how to stop all these demons from coming in and how we're gonna get this whole situation figured out, but I thought it was so funny how apparently Alec must have busted in on them when they were like making out or doing something, because they were a little like awkward and they were trying to cover up the fact that they were together. But you could see a little smirk on Alec's face and on Izzy's too, and I'm like, they both ship Helene. They both ship Helene, and I absolutely loved it. But now they go off on their own to try to figure out what to do, and then Alec and Izzy stay behind in the same building area, and they are armed. Izzy's got her staff, and Alec, of course, has his bow and arrows, and it does a really cool, like, 5 arrow at a time thing, and he's like, we got this. We can do this. And Izzy, I think, is very hesitant, because this is a lot to handle, but they're both lightwoods, as Alex said, and they're ready to fight, and they're ready to go down, until all of a sudden, just a bunch of demons just combust. Turn around, lo and behold, our boy Magnus is there, and he's ready to save the day, and I was so happy to see him there. I kind of wish we had gotten a little bit more, like, fight action with Izzy and Alec, but I love the fact that Magnus kind of just showed up out of the blue to help save the day. I thought it was really cute. And then we move on to Jace and Clary, who go and find Jonathan, who's brought down his wings, and Clary basically confronts Jonathan in that she knows that he loves her, and that she is willing to help him if he's willing to make a change for good. But I think the thing is that since their connection has stopped, and that, because here's the thing, Clary had just as much of an influence on Jonathan than the other way around. Yes, we saw most of it from Jonathan affecting Clary, but I think Clary's connection actually helped Jonathan stay more sane and stay more good. But now that a connection is gone, he's like not thinking about goodness anymore. He wants the world basically to burn. And out of this anger, he basically destroys the Morningstar sword. So we literally went through a lot of shit to get both of these swords, Glorious and Morningstar, and they end up both being destroyed by the end of the episode. And I'm just like, okay, I feel like that was like kind of like not necessary. Like, why did he have to destroy both of the swords? I can understand the Morningstar why he would destroy, because that way he thinks that there's no way that the seal could be, or the rift can be sealed up again without the Morningstar. And he gets upset, flies away inside of the rift, and basically claims that Clary's basically lying or not being honest with him because he knows that she'll never love him the way he probably wants her to. And this leads to a moment with Clace, and this is where they exchange I love yous, and Clary even says that I will love you until the day I die and even afterward, and they share a cute little kiss. Probably not the best place for them to do this, like right in the middle of pure hell. At least they should be inside, but it is a nice little moment with Clace, and now they are fully together because there's no influence from Jonathan. Jace is his own self. He has been most of the season. So now that they're finally together, like for real. And then now we lead to one of the most emotionally wrecking scenes I have ever witnessed on this show. So, Izzy, Alec, and Magnus, they go back inside a little bit. And Alec is very confused a little bit. He's like, why are you here? You shouldn't be here. We can't be together. And then this is when Magnus finally says, I know about the deal you made with Asmodeous. And that it's okay. I understand why you did it. And Alec didn't even let him finish the sentence because he just leans in for a kiss. And it was so cute and so sweet. I did find it like a little like weird how they angled it with them right in the middle and then all hell breaking loose in the background behind them. But oh my God, it was so nice for them to finally reconnect. It's just, I know they haven't been broken up for a long time, but it still felt like a long time, because they deserve to be together so much. And then Jace and Clary come back in and they let them know that the Morningstar's been destroyed and that Jonathan's gone. And now they're all kind of left like, well, what the hell are we gonna do? Is this the end? But Magnus, remembering something that his father said about how he can become more powerful, Magnus decides to take the big sacrifice and sacrifice himself to seal the rift and to get rid of all these demons in Alicante. Now, obviously Alec does not want him to do this because they just reconnected, they're back together, and I think he wants to, I don't know if Alec wanted to propose in that particular instant, but I think he wanted to tell him about his plan. But oh my God, Magnus beats him to the punch and is like, I know what you want to say to me.
You can't. There's something I had to do. There's something I had to say. I know. Needless to say,
And Magnus finally asks, Alexander Gideon Lightwood. I'm getting like chills just even saying this. Alexander Gideon Lightwood, will you marry me? And obviously, I think the emotion really starts to hit Alec right then. And then he grabs the ring and he's like, only if you marry me too. And oh my god, I wish that we had a more of a romantic setting like Alec had originally planned. But the fact that they got to say what they wanted to say to each other, it just mended my heart so much. It was so beautifully done. It was so well acted, and oh my god. And when they were exchanging the rings and the looks on their faces, oh my god, I was so happy. I was so happy. And they lean in for a kiss. And of course there's a big boom that happens across the way in Alicante because it distracts them from their kiss. Which I wish, why couldn't you just have a kiss after you two just got engaged? But Magnus steps away and opens up a portal to take him to Edom. And then Alec quickly says, it's only Edom and you'll always be back. And then and of course Magnus being Magnus, he goes like, never thought I'd be the runaway groom. And this puts a smile on his face and on Alec's too, but they're both obviously very, very hurt because they just declared their love for each other in the most official way possible by getting engaged. And now Magnus has to go and basically save the whole world. And Alec is absolutely devastated. I mean, just the looks on both Magnus and most importantly on Alec's face. Like, I mean, kudos to Matt Daddario for acting that ending scene out beautifully. But it broke my heart so much to see him so hurt and so in pain. I think I would say even a hint of him is a little proud of Magnus for doing this, but I mean, they just got back together after all the shit they had gone through because of Asmodeous. And I guess even their own insecurities at certain points. They're finally together, Magnus has his magic back, they're engaged, and just like that, Magnus is gone. And it just broke my heart so much. And even seeing like Izzy cry and Clary and Jace get emotional, and even at the very, very end when they all gather around Alec, who's fallen to his knees because he's so emotional, like that hit me so much. And I have to say, one of the coolest effects I think I've ever seen on the show is at the very, very end of City of Glass, when because the sky right now is open, it's all red and gray and very Edom-esque colors. But then all of a sudden you see these sparks of blue. Like you start seeing these blue, like electrical clouds and sparks going all around the rift, and it overwhelms it. And then all of a sudden the rift is sealed. And that's it. And at that moment we know that Magnus was able to seal the rift. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Ugh. I think that was the coolest way to end that, because we at least got to see that the rift got sealed, and that we know because of the color of the magic that we knew that Magnus was the one who sealed it. He was able to seal it, and just, it broke my heart. I mean, I'm getting emotional. I don't want to cry. I mean, I've been crying enough in my little reactions that you guys have been seeing throughout this review. I don't want to cry again, but yeah, it was. Wow, what a finale. I mean, all I have to say is what a finale. And the thing is, this is how it was originally going to end. So if we had gotten confirmed for a season 4, we would have waited quite a bit of time for us to get any more content. And even worse, had Freeform, the only time I will ever thank Freeform for this, if we had not gotten that 2.5 hour series finale, this would have been it. This would have been the end of Shadowhunters. And fans, myself included, if that would have been the case, we would have been pissed, because we didn't get any closure for anything. We had no Sizzy. We didn't get really anything like happy-go-lucky with Clace. We didn't know anything about Praetor Lupus. We don't know what was going to happen with Maya or Luke. And then obviously the whole thing with Magnus and Alec about their engagement and all that sort of stuff. None of that would have been resolved. So at least now we do have a series finale where we can get some closure. But I have to say, regardless of any of that, this was a fantastic finale. There's so many great moments in this episode between multiple characters. Everyone had their emotions running high and all that sort of stuff. I do think that the pacing was a little bit fast, because I felt like everything was just going like boom, 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 boom. So many things happening at the same time. But overall, a fantastic episode and a fantastic way to sum up season 3. And now we have one more week left until the series finale of Shadowhunters. It's gonna be very bittersweet. How that's gonna work with me is that I'm probably gonna film it in 2 parts because there is gonna be a lot to cover. I'm gonna maybe try to film it in 2 episodes because this video alone is gonna be very, very long, and I apologize for that. But that's probably the way I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be bittersweet. I'm excited to see how it ends, but also I'm sad to see the show go. And I'm not giving up on Save Shadowhunters yet, everyone. I'm not giving up, and if any of you don't want to give up as well, then we're still going to continue hashtag Save Shadowhunters to try to get the show back. It deserves to be back for at least 1 more season, if not 2 more. A lot to ask for, I know, but a girl can dream. But on that note, I don't have anything else to say, so I'm going to end the video right here. So if you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up, leave me comments down below. What were your reactions to this amazing, crazy episode? Any comments, any theories you have for the finale, or any thoughts at all, I would love to read them. And if you want to see my future video or videos I've already done, go ahead, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you guys today, and until the next video, bye! Mwah.